So let's talk about the nonsense. Now, first of all, when I say that there's no risk to Bitcoin, and by the way, as you can see, I've made probably $400 to $500 in the last few days trading Bitcoin. But when I say there's no risk to Bitcoin, and when I say there's a lot of misinformation being passed along by people like Eli the computer guy, let me explain myself. So, first of all, let's talk about what's really dangerous. What's really dangerous is people that are doing crazy things like quitting their jobs, pursuing their future and being a Bitcoin millionaire, whatever it is. What's really ridiculous is people selling their homes, selling their cars, taking their retirement plans out and using it and putting it all in Bitcoin. That's ridiculous. But even that, what's really ridiculous is not doing that with Bitcoin. It's doing that period. You don't sell your house and buy Apple, Google, an index fund, right? You don't do that, right? That just the whole idea of putting all your eggs in one basket definitely applies. So a lot of the people that are saying Bitcoin is it's dangerous and it's so I'd never buy that, like it's all this like negative talk. Well, do you see what's happening to the stock market right now? Look at what's happening to the stock market right now. Down 617. Look at this. Look at this over the just off the cliff situation going on right now. And one thing to keep in mind is that there really was no way to know or predict that our good buddy in the White House would have done what he did to create this situation in the first place. And any number of things can happen with the stock market. We could go to war tomorrow. There could be a major fire at a plant. So this idea that, Bitcoin, it's so dangerous. And yes, Bitcoin is highly volatile. So therefore, if you are irresponsible with Bitcoin, the punishment that you're gonna get is gonna just be hundreds of times worse than for most stocks, right? If you do something really crazy, and again, you're doing something crazy. It's not Bitcoin that's crazy. It's you, right? Look. I'm the guy who has the money to make a ton of money with Bitcoin. I could put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into Bitcoin. And I would right now, let's do some basic math. When I told you guys that it's a good point to buy when it was 3,000, if I had only bought 3, right? So let's go 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. $9,000. So how much would that be worth now? I mean, Bitcoin just hit, what did it go past 8,000? Like you do that math and then tell me how much money I would have made on that investment. That's thousands and thousands of dollars in only a few months. That is absolutely ridiculous. But look what I did. I've got $1,240 invested in Bitcoin. I sacrificed the potential of a lot more gains, thousands and thousands of dollars. I let slip through my fingers because Bitcoin is the most volatile thing that I have in my portfolio. Therefore, one of the highest risks in my portfolio. So I need to control those risks by minimizing or basically limiting my exposure to that risk. So that's why you see right here, and this is a very high number, portfolio diversity, 38.95%. That is how much of my portfolio is invested in Bitcoin right now. 38.96%. And again, that is a very, very high number. I only did that because I could see that Bitcoin was exploding. I think I did that. I increased my position from probably 23% to 39.9%. Right around when I saw it was, what was it, 5? I think when it was shooting past 5,000, everything was telling me that this is what we've been waiting for. Now, how far it's going to go, I don't know. But I saw a lot of aggressive movements upward, so I increased my position. But here's one factor you guys have to keep in mind. So number one, remember that I let the opportunity to make thousands and thousands of dollars in just a few months. I let that slip through my fingers. And yeah, part of me regrets that. But most of me doesn't really regret it because it could have gone the other way. I could have invested $10,000 and ended up with $2,000. Bitcoin could go to nothing. It could go to $5, $10, $20. Who knows what's going to happen next? So you're not going to put a bunch of your money into Bitcoin. That is ridiculous. But here's the bottom line. For all the people saying all this negative stuff about Bitcoin, oh, Bitcoin is dangerous. How can Bitcoin hurt you more than you allow it to hurt you? You know what's really dangerous? What's really dangerous is short selling. That's what's dangerous. With short selling, there is no limit to the amount of losses that you can have, because when you're selling something that you don't own, that's what short selling is. You gotta satisfy that loan. It's a loan, right? And then you're gonna have to pay for whatever it is that somebody loaned you. I'm breaking it down real simple for you. You have to satisfy that, so you're gonna have to pay whatever market price is. There's no limit on how high the market price can go. Right now we have Google, four-figure stock price, right? Let's say for some reason the company, the stock that you sold short blows up, right? And it ends up, so you sold it short at $30 per share. And now it's $1,000 per share. That's probably never going to happen, but it could happen, right? Now you got to go out there and pay over $1,000 per share to satisfy this loan, which is a tremendous loss. And the bottom line is, as high as the price goes up is as high as your losses could be in selling short. So the thing about it is you can lose a lot more money than you invest. Unlike with Bitcoin. If I put $1 million in Bitcoin, guess how much money I can lose? $1 million. So which one is risky? Bitcoin or selling stocks short? I could sell some stock short worth $1 million. And then the price goes through the roof, and now I got to pay $5 million. So think about that. I spent $1 million hoping to make profit, but in the end, I end up spending $5 million. That's multiple millions of dollars worth of absolute losses. So the bottom line is, all this negative talk, Bitcoin dangerous, Bitcoin. How can Bitcoin be dangerous when you can invest as much as you are willing to lose? And you should never invest more than you're willing to lose, whether it's Bitcoin, stocks, options, whatever it is. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. If losing your entire portfolio would make you not be able to pay the rent or put you out on the street, then you are investing too much money. I don't care what you're investing in. When you invest in a stock market, you do not have the protection like you have in a savings account. You put $250,000 in a savings account, that bank goes bust. In theory, you have insurance which should cover that. And I say in theory because Not many things in life are guaranteed, but let's just trust the system that your insurance will cover you. But you put money in the stock market, things could go south in a heartbeat. So please explain to me, why is it that, oh, Bitcoin, oh, that's never Bitcoin, but stocks are okay? Look at what's happening right. Look at the Dow. How could you have predicted that Donald Trump was going to do this tariff war thing and totally destroy the market? How could you predict this? And this is the nature of the stock market. Look at all of this. Let's go back a year. This is the Dow. Look at the Dow. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Look at that. All the way down like that. And it's rising and it's down and it's up. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin went crazy, shot all the way up to $19,000. Now, this is in the beginning when it's a new thing and it's a trending thing and everybody's talking Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. You got your doctor talking about it, your dentist talking about it. Your father wants to know, should I get involved in this Bitcoin, right? It's a frenzy. So, of course, it goes out of control, jumps to 20,000 because everybody and their mom is trying to get into Bitcoin, right? And then, of course, it's going to crash. You think it's going to go forever? And you got people that are more sophisticated that they know this is going to happen. And they have their strategies set up where they pick a point. It's like a game of chicken. They pick a point where, okay, that's it. You know, this is too much for me. I don't want to go any further, right? Because I know there's a dead end at the end of this road, and I don't want to hit that dead end. So they sell all their stuff, right? And then more and more people keep selling as the price goes higher and higher and higher until it gets to a point where there's too many people selling. There's more people selling that are buying, and then you have this tumbling coming down. Just theoretically. I'm not saying that's necessarily describing exactly what happened here, but this is a typical type of thing that you would see. So the whole thing about, oh, look at this, and then you have people that are talking about they lost their shirts. You know, anybody that lost a lot of money, that's pure greed and irresponsibility. Because at this point in time, Bitcoin, let's say this Bitcoin is at 10,000. So what? You sold your car and put $30,000 into Bitcoin. You put $30,000 into Bitcoin, which is 90% of how much money you have total. That's 90% of your net worth you put into Bitcoin. And then you watched it double. And after all that, you still think it's going to go on forever. And rather than sell, you're just waiting on, yeah, let's see how high it's going to go. And then you see it tumbling and you're like, oh, well, it'll come back. And then you see it coming back. You're like, okay, yeah. And then you see it falling again. All this time, you are so much in the green. You got so many thousands of dollars. Even the amount of money you've lost here, remember, you bought in at 10,000. But no, you sit there and you wait, hoping it's going to come back. And you let it fall below what you paid. Right? And then now it's all these horror stories. Oh, I lost my house. That's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't make you put 90% of your net worth into something that is brand spanking new. You don't even fully understand. That is you doing that. What is dangerous is you. What is dangerous are the people who are behaving irresponsibly and being greedy with Bitcoin, doing things with Bitcoin that you shouldn't do with anything as far as investing. You shouldn't do it with Google, Apple, what you name it, index funds, whatever it is. You do not put 90% of your net worth into the stock market unless you're 18 years old and you won the lottery and you're living at home. Right? That's a situation where I might say that might actually be something potentially sensible, just from I don't want to use the word sensible, but that's something I could accept. because you're young. You have a lot of years of potential earning income. You're using lottery money. This is not your hard-earned money. This is not your retirement plan or whatever. But even then, to put 90%, but if you want like that scenario could work because if you won, let's say you net $2 million from this lottery winning, you know, if you only keep 10% of that and put in a savings account, that's still a respectable amount of money for an 18-year-old, 19-year-old to have. I still would probably not want to put that much in there, but that would maximize the potential gains of what you could potentially do with that. So definitely, arguably a little reckless, but if you're gonna be reckless, do it at that age with lottery money, right? Not money that you took years and years to earn, not equity from your house, not your car when that's the most expensive thing that you possess. That's not how you do it. So what's dangerous, it's the people, not Bitcoin. Because if you look at Bitcoin, when I told you guys that it's a good time to look at jumping in, if you guys remember, I made that video right around 3,000, 3,200, right? If you guys had bought when I said that my feeling was this was the bottom. So we're going to talk about reality versus this misinformation spreading around. All you had to do is whatever you bought, just sit on it. Sit on it. 3,000. Look at the price. 35. 36. 37. 4,000. Look at that. Just a nice steady over time rising and rising and rising and rising and rising. It's not like you gotta buy it at the right moment and oh you gotta sell it by this afternoon or just this week is the week and you held it one day too long or whatever. I mean, that's where it's headed, because the higher it goes, obviously you're getting closer to the point where it's gonna potentially reverse, right? But all these months, this is relatively stable behavior. Compare that to the stock market. Everybody's okay with the stock market. Yeah, stock market. That's what we know. It's been around for so long, Look at the stock market. Look at the last year. Rising up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, up. All this going up and down. And again, the stock market can change on a dime, just like Bitcoin. Right? Just like Bitcoin can. So the point is, you don't invest more than you're willing to lose. The reality is, Bitcoin has outperformed the stock market. I mean, it's Bitcoin this year, that's like Lamborghini, right? Bitcoin this year, Lamborghini, right? The stock market, Camry. The stock market this year has been a Camry. Bitcoin has been a Lamborghini, not the base model, the $400,000 Lamborghini. That's what Bitcoin has been delivering. Nice, stable, growing over time, and nothing crazy. Buy and hold. I told you guys 3,000 was a good time. 4,000 again. And you notice I haven't said anything much since then. Matter of fact, the last time I made a video, I said it's too late. Now keep in mind, when I said it was too late, it's gone up probably 2,000 more since then. But the thing about it is, it's the level of risk. Bitcoin could go up to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. But we don't know. That's all speculation. What we do know is we've seen some massive gains in a short period of time, relatively short period of time. So the higher that it goes, the more you have to consider that, this thing might reverse. Now, when it's really low and it's been low for a while, like that, it was hanging around 3,000 for a while. I mean, it could have still went lower, right? Could have went to 2,000, 1,000, right? But when you see it's kind of hovering around that level, that kind of tells you that that's where it wants to be. Not a guarantee, but it's indicating to you that that's where it wants to be. So the more it moves away from that, you've got to consider there's that energy that wants to pull it back down. And we've seen that. It goes up a little bit, it falls back a little bit, goes up a little bit, falls back a little bit. And it's kind of, to me, I look at it like a rubber band. So the higher it goes, the more there's that energy that wants it to just snap back. Right? So while, yes, it can go higher than it is now, it could go to 9,000, 10,000. The thing is, because of the fact that we don't know how high it's going to go, at this point right now, it's getting really risky. Also, you got to think about how much you could buy fractional amounts. But if you're looking to buy, like, you spend $8,000 right now or $16,000 for 2 Bitcoin, I mean, that's a lot of money for most people. Right? But again, and here's another thing that people don't realize. You can put as much money as you want. You could be broke as ever and put $20. I mean, with a $20 investment, you're not going to make much money from that. But think about the price doubling and tripling. Right? So you put $20 in, you end up with $150, $20, $300, or you lose the whole 20. That's unlikely, but I mean, it could happen. Let's say Bitcoin for some reason goes away. Then your $20 is gone. But I mean, who can afford to lose $20? The bottom line is you control the risks. And if you don't put in more than you're willing to lose, what's the big deal? I just don't get when people keep talking about how Bitcoin is dangerous. Like, what are you talking about? People are bleeding right now in the stock market. They're losing thousands of dollars, millions of dollars on the higher end. People are bleeding hard right now through something that there's no way to predict. So why is it that that's somehow the safer? It is safer based on it's not as volatile, but that's also very dangerous as well. I just don't understand why that's a comfort zone. Like, you've seen what the stock market has done in the past, and you're okay with that. But Bitcoin, oh no, this new Bitcoin thing. And then the argument is, what's Bitcoin? It doesn't really have a value. Blah, blah. Who cares? Right? Look at my account. You can sit here and argue about what Bitcoin is worth, and there's nothing really behind it. Meanwhile, $373 total return. I've made $200 in one day. And I haven't done anything. I didn't do anything today to earn this $200. This $200 just showed up in my account. Right? So you can sit here and debate about the value of it and whatever. Meanwhile, money in the bank. Yes, I could wake up tomorrow morning and find out it's down to 4,000. You can see my average cost was 6,000. So if it goes down to 4,000, that would be a significant decrease in value. But do you see my investment amount? $1,240. I could lose 100% of that, and it's not going to do a thing. Does not matter. Bitcoin is a potential for me by far, the highest potential by far right now, for me to multiply some of my money. Double or triple my money in a short period of time for minimal risk. Now, greedy people, it's not minimal risk because they put too much money in. But $1,240, for me to put $1,240 for the opportunity to turn it into $3,000. It's worth it. It's worth me risking losing money that I don't need, I don't care about, for the chance to triple it. Because worst case scenario, I lose money, that I don't need. That is the way you invest. And if you invest like that, Bitcoin is not a big deal. In fact, it is absolutely awesome. I think, it tells you the total return right there. The other thing that I invest in is Ethereum. I don't really mess with anything else. There's a lot of fake stuff out there and all kind of mumbo jumbo. I keep it simple. That's how I do. That's how I do with stocks. I keep it simple. I don't mess around with all this fake stuff. Ethereum, Bitcoin, that's it. I got 5% gains today, and average cost 171, equity 451. So I spent an average of 171. I have a total equity 452 now. So not as much gains here. Total return $66. Today's returns. I made $25 today on my tiny position with Ethereum, and then tons more with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, if we do the full return, well, it already had that down there, so 369. So yeah, it's I don't really understand a lot of the negative talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is only as dangerous as you are. Bottom line. You are in control. It's kind of like saying, you shouldn't eat any candy at all. And the reason why you're saying it is because you're talking about people that went into a candy store and spent like $200 and ate $200 worth of candy bars in one sitting. You don't have to go in a candy bar. You don't have to go in a store and spend $200 and eat $200 worth of candy bars, right? You can go in there in moderation and have one or two or three if you're really feeling a little bit crazy, right? But don't make the basis of, I'm not going to eat chocolate bars based on what some greedy people are doing. Now, the final note for you is the other risk of Bitcoin is listening to people online. And that includes me. Everything that I said should make you think and do your own research and do your own thought process and figure out what makes sense for you. But you should treat me like you should treat just about anybody online that you don't know. A lot of people online are investing in Bitcoin, and the hype makes them money. So they're going to sit there and tell you about, it might go to $1 million, blah, blah, blah. You guys are missing out, right? I don't think any of those guys will tell you what I told you. I told you 3,000 was a good point. I said 4,000 was a good point. And after that, I kept my mouth shut. And then I went even further and I said a week ago, it's too late. See how many of these guys will tell you it's too late. Right? Because they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. So they're going to just tell you about how great it is. Bitcoin is great. It's wonderful. It's going to go to $1 million. All this kind of crazy numbers. Meanwhile, I will tell you, buy in when it's lower. When it gets a little bit too risky, I'll tell you to back out. And my attitude, and I'm very transparent about it, is I'm expecting it to peak out and fall back down. And as far as how high it's going to go this time around, my personal call, and this is just speculation, I got no way to know where it's going to go. I can't predict the future. I don't think it's going to go as high as the last time. Last time it was a lot of hype, a lot of new people, and a lot of that greed and craziness has scared off a lot of people. The point of this video, a lot of what I'm talking about is a lot of that negative sort of image that it has. So that's going to scare away a lot of people who aren't going to come back. Also, a lot of people who lost a lot of money they've gained it back at this point, so they've probably closed out positions, right? Because maybe they bought at here, and then they watched it rise, and they held it until it fell below it. It's just risen finally above what they paid for it way back here. They've been waiting for a long time. So, as it goes higher and higher, you're going to be bleeding off people like that who they got burnt. They looked at all this pain and bleeding for all this time. They are so relieved to just be out of this. They never want to do Bitcoin again. Probably think it's the dumbest thing they ever did. Potentially. But then you have a lot of other people who the risk takers or whoever it is, maybe people who didn't get scared off. So the bottom line is, I don't think it's gonna be as many people. So I don't think it's. I would start using this as a baseline for how far it's gonna go, and think about like this is the peak. It's not gonna go higher than that, my estimation, and it's not gonna go as high as that. So we got to start here and go down. So I'm pessimistic with stuff like this. So I would think halfway would be, I don't think it'd go much higher than that. So we're talking about, wow, not much higher than it is right now. So 9,000 to 10,000. So in my opinion, it's getting pretty risky right now. Unfortunately, though, you can't predict the future, so it could go even higher than it did the last time. I mean, there could be, for every person that got burnt, there's others that heard rumors of, Bitcoin millionaires. And they don't want to miss out this time. And next thing you know, it shoots up to 30,000, 40,000. I wouldn't bet on that, though. For the safe side, I think it's getting close to maxing out. 8, 9, 10. And then expect to see something like this. Right? A lot of those YouTubers are not going to tell you that. All right, guys. Again, never invest more than you're willing to lose. Right? If losing 100% of what you invested would hurt you, then you're investing too much. Stop being afraid of Bitcoin. If you're afraid of Bitcoin, then you shouldn't be investing. Because as you can see, this is what's going on with the stock market, right? If you're afraid of Bitcoin, then this should be terrifying for you as well. Now, it's not as much damage as Bitcoin because, Bitcoin goes down, it's going on by thousands, right? But this, if your positions are big enough, this could be thousands of dollars for you as well. All right? All right, guys. I'm out of here. Bum, 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 bum. Don't you be afraid of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's not afraid of you.